I start up the computer to do a video, I have to be on Chrome. Now, I don't know Chrome from brass.
Mm-hmm.
So I hit that first, and I was able to see myself on the screen, and both times I could see myself. Then one time it looked frozen. Then another time I tried to redo it. So I have really done it twice.
Okay, so I'm sorry that it didn't work for you. It's okay. I saw that you wrote down kind of the answer to the questions, which is great. I hope that Ariel, the guy I gave you the email for, I hope he'll get back to you and try and help you. For now, I don't see any upcoming activities that you have to film yourself again, but if there is, maybe we could go through it like step by step or something like that to make sure that you can. So when that happens again, we'll figure it out.
And I have a guy from Drexel University he's a PhD in computer, blah, 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 blah. So I will probably see him sometime within the next week. So I'm going to try it because I should be able to play it back so I can see it, correct?
Right, correct.
And I'm not seeing it. So
okay, so maybe he can help you, and if not, I'm sure we'll figure it out until the next time we need to use the video is.
Okay.
All right, great. So we're just gonna wait a little bit, a couple more minutes for Allison to join, and I think except for that, we're missing 2 students, but they didn't reply to any of the messages, so I'm not sure they're coming. I think it might just be the 4 of us for today.
Okay.
But meanwhile, did you guys set up, if I have you here anyways until Allison gets here, did you guys set up Zoom accounts, obviously Google accounts, and a Wiser account?
I tried. I mean, I don't know. I gave myself a new email, Gmail email name, and I went on the Wiser, but I have no idea.
Okay, so in this week's one of this week's assignments is a Wiser. So if you see that you're able to sign on with no problem, that's great. And if you have any trouble, just let me know and I'll help you with that.
Okay.
All right, and David, how about you? David, I can't hear you. You have to unmute yourself. On the bottom left of your screen, you have a mute button. You have to unmute. Yes. Great. Sorry, yes. So what were you saying?
I did the first Wiser that had the little test. And so it works.
Great, perfect. And you used your Gmail account for that, or you just set up a different account?
Yes, I used my Gmail for that. And it did Wiser, and I got Zoom too, obviously.
Great. Great. So, hi, Allison. I'm glad that you joined us. Great. So that means...
I'm fixing it all.
Great. That's good. That means we can start. So what we're going to do is, 1 second, I'm going to share my screen. All right, so what we're going to do is, first of all, I'm going to introduce myself, and then it would be great if you can all introduce yourselves. Okay, so Korim li Moria, which means my name is Moria, and I live in Jerusalem, in Israel, and I am an instructor for JETS, which is Jerusalem EdTech Solutions, and I'm teaching for Hebrew College. Besides that, I teach in a school here in Jerusalem, and in other schools in the past years. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. My favorite Hebrew word, here you can see on the screen the things you should say when you're introducing yourself. So my favorite Hebrew word is sababa, which means pretty much great, awesome. And you can use it if somebody asks you, how are you? Or you could use it if somebody asks you, how did your day go? Or how is that fruit shake that you're drinking? It pretty much is a great answer for everything. Sababa. Remember that, and I'll write it down for you also later. So that's a little bit about me. Now I'd love to hear a little bit about each of you, and you can all start with Korim li, and your name, and go on from there in English, obviously. So David, do you want to start?
Cor-Imli David Weinholz. I'm older and I'm retired, and I have a dog and a cat.
Sounds great. And where do you live? Remind us. In Virginia?
In Richmond, Virginia. Yes, ma'am.
Great. And what are your dog and cat's names?
Chloe and Sarah Elizabeth Smart.
Great names. I love that. Maybe by the end of the course, you'll give them another Hebrew name, kind of along to that list.
Yes, I'll give them another Hebrew name.
Mitzvyan. Okay, thanks, David. Very nice to meet you. Allison, let's hear a little bit about you.
Hi, everyone. So my dog is sitting right here. Maybe I'll try to get him up here to hang out with us. But
oh, great.
He's just looking at me right now. Cor-Imli Allison. I'm from San Francisco, so it's 8 o'clock in the morning here. Good morning.
Good for you for getting up early to join us.
Yes. So do you pronounce it Moriah?
So in Hebrew, it's Moria.
Maria.
But that's hard to pronounce. To Americans, great. So if you guys want to go all the way and say Moria or Moria, that's great. If Mariah is easier for you, that's also totally fine.
Are you American?
I was born and raised in Israel, but my father is American, from San Francisco, actually, born and raised. Oh. Yes, and my mother is from London, so we spoke English at home, and hence the American-ish accent.
Yeah, you sound very American. Yeah. I'm sure people always think you're American.
Yeah, well, Americans think I have a little bit of a strange accent in English if they talk to me for like a couple minutes, but for a few minutes, maybe they might think I am.
Isn't there another San Francisco person in this class?
Right, she couldn't make it today. I think she said she lives in the Bay Area. I'm not sure where exactly, but she can't make it today. But we'll meet her in the next meeting, I'm sure.
Oh, good. Okay, so let's see. My name is Allison. I am a music educator, so I teach music in a couple of Jewish preschools and mommy and me classes. I also have a band and play music for kids sort of all over. So that's what I do. And so I'm working on my master's in Jewish ed in order to move forward as a Jewish music educator. I have a long way to go. This is my third semester. I took the Mechina preparation Hebrew class this summer, so I'm pretty good. I know all my letters and I can read pretty well. And this system will probably be really different from the system that we were learning on before, which I finally mastered the whole technical thing of it. So I'm sure this, but it's fun. I mean, I had fun with it. I'm 52. I'm like, whatever. I do what I can.
So far, it looks like you're doing great with all the technical stuff.
Good. Yeah. Well, I after 3 semesters of online masters, I'm getting really good. I mean, I've learned a lot.
Amazing.
So hang in there, you guys. It gets better. And then my favorite Hebrew word, I think, is uga.
Uga.
Do you want to explain to everyone what that is in case they don't know?
That's cake. It's a fun word, and it's something I really like. So I like that.
You just like the way it sounds as well?
I like the way it sounds. Yeah, it's like uga. Uga.
Yeah, great.
So,
love that.
And that was just a word that I learned last semester, and I used it a lot in all the little sentences we had to write about what we wrote say and wrote so, and all that stuff. So
great. So nice to hear. Thank you, Allison.
Yeah.
And Rummel, how do you pronounce that? Rummel?
Rumel.
Rumel. Sorry.
Yeah.
So Rumel. Okay. So in Rumel, if you could also tell us the reason that you want to learn Hebrew, because maybe I'm remembering wrong, but I don't remember that you wrote that down instead of the video.
Well, I was trying to be cagey, but anyway, here it goes. Cor-Imli Rumel Scott. My name is Rumel Scott. Ani noladiti Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Akshav ani gara b'Wynwood, Pennsylvania. Now I live in Wynwood, Pennsylvania.
Wow, very impressive Hebrew skills.
Yeah.
Pavar, Layad, Philadelphia, suburb.
Parval, yeah. Great word, parval.
Wow, you're really good.
Yeah, I don't know.
Look. Ani Menahelet Bedimos.
That's a big word.
Beit say, well, I'm a big person.
Yeah.
Beit Sefer Yesodi. I was an elementary school principal. Akshav ani lo ovedet. I don't work anymore. I'm a pensioner.
Me too.
Yeah.
Go pensioners.
Yes. What's the word for old?
Mevugar. Mevugar is like zaken.
Is another word for old people.
Alta Cockers.
Well, that one too, but we're not, like. But anyway, we're all old at this point.
Maybe in Hebrew we say pensionerim from the word pension. Pensionerim means people who are retired.
Yes, and can ride that bus for free.
Exactly.
My favorite Hebrew word is be'amet.
When you tell people what that means if they don't know.
When you don't know what to say and someone is talking to you, you say, really? Be'amet.
Wait, what is it?
I think it's be'amet.
It's really, like really? Could be
really?
Like in a question mark. Really?
Oh, because emet is truth, right?
Exactly. So emet is truth, and then if you ask someone,
like in the truth.
Exactly, which is like really, like is that really true?
So when people
Good for you, Allison.
In Hebrew, and I'm trying to follow, but I'm only getting 50% of the words, I just look very seriously at them, and they think
awesome.
I know. They think I know.
So, Ramel, tell us also how you know Hebrew so well and why you want to learn more Hebrew.
I have 2 of these, have gone through them several times. I also have the other book that's widely used from what's the school in Massachusetts? Brandeis.
I don't know.
Brandeis Modern Hebrew. I have 2 of those, but I have so many holes in my learning, and I have trouble recalling words because I don't use them enough. I also study biblical, traditional Hebrew, biblical Hebrew. And so I'm just trying to elevate my levels all across the board. Great.
Sounds amazing. Sounds very interesting. Very nice to meet you, and nice to meet you all. And I'm sure throughout our meetings, we will get to know each other a little better every time, and maybe we'll speak more and more Hebrew every time we meet. I'm going to try basically what we're going to do now is in our first lesson, will be more of an introductory lesson. I'm just going to kind of talk about what we're going to do in these meetings and overall what we're going to do in the course. And of course, at any point, if you have any questions, feel totally free to step in and ask. So first of all, one of the things that I'm going to try to do in these meetings is just introduce and use a couple of Hebrew words. So as you can see on the side of this screen, it says Na'im lehakir, which some of you already said, which just means nice to meet you, Na'im lehakir. And of course, that's just an example. I will try and use as many Hebrew words as possible, but obviously most of the explanations will still be in English for those who obviously aren't fluent yet in Hebrew. Okay, so basically the 3 things that we're going to be doing this semester is 1, assignments from week to week. Every week, after every meeting, you will be assigned new assignments that are already on the Schoology. And they are reading activities, writing activities, listening and speaking activities all together. We try to build it in a way that you get kind of everything that you need for learning the language. And the second thing we're going to do is what we're doing right now, which is meeting once a week. And in a few minutes, I'm going to talk about what we're going to be doing in these meetings once a week. And of course, except for those two things, we're going to have assessments, which we'll have one big assessment by the end of the course and a few small ones here and there when we kind of finish a certain unit. Are there any questions before I go on? Okay, great. So now I'm going to go into a little more detail about those kind of three parts of the course. So about the assignments that you're going to get every week. So first of all, what's very important to understand is that we're still at the beginning of the course, and I'm still trying to see what your Hebrew levels are. Obviously, everybody has kind of a different Hebrew background, and everyone's on a little bit of a different level. So I'm going to take these first, let's say the first week or two, to kind of understand what everybody's level is and what everybody's pace is. I'm sure some people will, not get to finish all the assignments that I assigned at the beginning of the week, and for some people, it won't be enough assignments. So for this first week, I'm just going to leave it at the assignments that I gave you. But for the next couple of weeks, if someone feels that that there aren't enough assignments for them to do during the week, so I will assign them extra work to do, if obviously with extra credit, or to go on to do the assignments for the next week. There's plenty of work to do, so that's definitely not a problem. And the opposite, if I feel like for most people, the assignments I'm giving are too much to do per week, it's supposed to be about 2 or 3 hours a week of assignments. Any questions about that? Great. David, if you want to speak, so just unmute yourself. Okay, so that's one. So everybody's kind of has a different pace, different level, and we're going to see in this first week what kind of works. And of course, if anybody wants to do any extra work, if the work isn't enough for them, I will assign them more work. Okay, so that brings me to the next bullet point, which is about the syllabus. All of you have seen the syllabus on Schoology. Just note that the syllabus will probably change a little bit according to what I see your progress is. And, okay, too much, too little, we talked about that. Great, perfect. All right, I'm going on to the next part of the course, which is our face-to-face meetings that we're having right now. So in these meetings, they're going to be kind of around 40 minutes, plus minus. It's going to be very dynamic depending on the week's work, depending on, the things we get to talk about, but that's around the time frame that it's going to be. The meetings are mandatory, but if for some reason you can't show up for one of the meetings, if you let me know in advance, that's totally fine. Just let me know so I know what to expect. And if you miss the meeting, make up the meeting and what you missed by watching the recorded version of it, which I will post after every meeting. Great. So what we're going to be doing on these meetings is, first of all, I'm going to give you some important pointers or important exercises that we'll do together that kind of sum up or go over the assignments that you had for the previous week. Another thing we're going to do, like I said before, is have a little bit of a speaking practice. I'm going to try to kind of give a question or a sentence to use every week that each person can try and say, or even a couple sentences, whatever, everyone in their own comfort level. And the third thing is a culture corner, which basically I'm going to try every week to bring you some sort of Hebrew phrase or something that's happening right now in Israel in Hebrew, kind of just to get a feeling of the Hebrew language in a certain context. Great. And the last, but definitely not least, thing that we're going to do in these meetings is I would love to get feedback from you about the assignments of the previous week. This one was too easy, this one was too hard, the instructions weren't clear, really anything that you feel. I would love to get feedback for the upcoming weeks and for the next times that I will be teaching this course. It's very good to know. Obviously, at the end of the course, we'll have kind of a proper feedback form that we'll send out to you, but just for now, for during the course, so I know kind of what to make, what to improve, it's very important. Okay, I just spoke a lot. Any questions up until now?
I just
Yes.
would like to ask. There was something that you gave us, and it said it would be a good idea to print this so you could refer back and forth. I just wanted to know, could everybody else print it? Because I couldn't print it. I was able to print the syllabus, but not that paper. I think it was 6 sheets, and it had a lot of the introductory vocab, grammar, verb stuff.
Vocabulary.
So did anybody else try and print and was able to?
Yes.
Well, I wound, because it was not, usually on Schoology, they're added as a PDF, a downloadable PDF, and that one was not. It was like embedded into the Schoology. So that's why it wasn't printable. I just selected the whole thing, pasted it into another document, and printed it. But in general, anything that's printable usually comes up as like a link for a PDF that you can download at the bottom and then print.
Okay. Well, because you
normally on Schoology you can, but that one was weird that you couldn't.
Because you have someone like me in the class who really, if you can put it in whatever the format it is, I would appreciate that, because I don't know about, I'm only looking at you now because the people at Apple, where I had to go last night, told me to use Chrome. I don't know from Chrome, but.
Well, Ramel, take a deep breath, because what you're saying was my whole summer, okay? So take a deep breath now, because everything we do in this class is going to be like that. So it's like, it's going to be really frustrating.
Okay, I hope it won't be too.
It's going to be like, yeah, I got it.
Well, I want to learn this, because this is a skill that I will need going forward to be able to work with technology.
It's like extra skills with these online courses. We learn these extra tech skills that are actually just as valuable as the course we're learning. So, sort of.
Definitely. I definitely agree.
Yeah, those things can be put in PDF form. That's definitely helpful.
So that's one thing I'll try to do for the next kind of things you need to print. Another thing is exactly what Allison said. Romel, I don't know if you know how to do this, but could you select the text, copy it, and paste it on just a regular Word document? Is that something that you would be able to do?
I was able to do that before this computer crashed 1 year ago, and I had to take it in and get new innards in it, and they installed another. It wasn't Word, and then I couldn't do anything. So then I got the guy from Drexel to put Word back in, and I've been so just weirded out by this. I had I'm also a student at Gratz.
And
I had a paper due. I had to go in and have them print the paper because my whole computer is different now.
And how are you with printing? Like, if I send you an email with a printable version, how would you be with that?
It should be fine, because I was able to print the syllabus.
Great.
But not the one with all the information. It only when I went to print it, only 1 page came out. And I think the document was 6 pages, and the page was blank.
I got it. So next time you want to print something, or if you still want to print this document, send me a message with exactly the document you want printed, and I will send you an email with a printable version of it if I can't get it as a PDF download in Schoology. Or I'll change it to a downloadable version in Schoology. I'll do one or the other. Just let me know, and I'll try to get that fixed.
Okay? Thank you.
Great. No problem. So any other questions before moving on?
I just put my cursor, selected that with my cursor and did a Control P, and it printed out fine.
Oh, you just went Control P while your mouse was on the document?
Yeah,
okay, that's another.
My cursor. Yes.
Great.
Okay,
so maybe try that as well, Romel.
I wrote that down.
Okay, great.
To try it.
Great, perfect. And again, if you have any other trouble, just talk to me, and I'm sure there's a way we could figure it out. Okay. And like Allison said, really a big part, obviously we're here to learn Hebrew, but the platform is also a big part of it, and learning to use kind of these technology-based platforms is an important skill to have kind of in the world that we live in today. That's just, what I think, as well as Allison. Okay, great. So we talked about what we're going to be doing in the assignments and in the meetings. In the assessments, like I said, very simple. We're going to have a couple assessments, quizzes, and so forth during the actual course. And of course, we're going to have one kind of bigger one at the end of the course. Obviously, before every assessment, I will tell you that it's an assessment, or it will say so on the assignments on Schoology. Okay, so a little bit about the how and when regarding the assignments. So I will give you the assignments of the upcoming week every week in our face-to-face meeting. You'll see I put the ones for this week. They're coming up in the slideshow in a second. But except for that, I also will post them on Schoology. If anyone, for some reason, can't see the assignments, is confused about what to do, of course, just write me a message, let me know, and I'll help you, and I will tell you exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Of course, during the week, I will check your assignments, grade them, and give you feedback for them. So the earlier you do them, the better, but obviously you have the whole week. I wrote that the due date is always Monday night at midnight, so that I have enough time to check your assignments before we meet, so we could kind of go over the main things that you had in your assignments. Any questions up until now? Okay, great. So, okay, so this is homework for this week. In a second, I'll talk about that. This meeting was a little bit more frontal, just like me talking and explaining things, just because it's the first meeting. And also, I'm going to have this meeting recorded and sent to everyone who wasn't here today, so they have a kind of a more detailed understanding of what's going on, what's going to happen in the course, and what are the expectations of them. And in the next meetings until the end of the course, the meetings will be more dynamic. You guys will have a lot more chance to speak. I will speak a lot more Hebrew, and so on. So let's go over the homework the assignments that you have for this week, okay? And that is, they're all in Unit 1, which is the blue folder in Schoology. I think I'm going to show you. One second, I'm going to have my Schoology come up here in a second. All right, so you probably see this a little bit. Can everybody see my screen, by the way?
Yeah.
Should have asked that a while ago, but better late than never. Okay, so in the, I think it's the blue folder. One second, we'll wait for it to come up. You have what's called Unit 1, and Unit 1 talks about selling and buying houses. That's kind of the overall subject of the unit, and all the assignments will have to do with that in a certain way. I don't know why. Oh, here, okay. So here, see, this is the unit I'm talking about, Dirot Lemechira, which means houses for sale. And you're just going to go into that unit, and the first 3 assignments, 1, 2, and 3, aren't things that you really have to do, but more things that you have to read and go over. The first one is just the goals of the whole unit. The second is nouns, adjectives, numbers, and pronouns, a sort of guide for those things. And the third one is the whole vocabulary list, as in words that you're going to be using throughout the unit. So these 3 are very important to go over. Probably the second and the third you're going to have to keep going back to while you're doing the other exercises. If you forget a certain word, the definition, or male or female, you have that here for you whenever you need it. And then from 4 onward is already activities. So basically for this week, you're going to be doing 4, 5, 6, and 7. While 5 is connected to 6, it's an introduction. It's something that you have to watch before you do 6. Was that clear?
Yes.
Great. I'll put it back on the slideshow so it's kind of more organized. 1 second. All right, great. So basically 1 to 3 is things that you need to go over and that you'll be revisiting throughout the unit. And then you have 4, which is a questions activity about the questions in Hebrew. 5 is an introduction for the activity of 6. And then 6 is a kind of very big activity where you have listening, reading comprehension, and writing. And then 7 is another activity. So again, for some of you, this may be, sorry, excuse me, for some of you, this may be too much work, and for some of you, this may be not enough work. So for this week, we're just going to leave it at that, and the next meeting, I'm going to hear feedback from you about how long it took you, and sorry, and about the level, if it was good for you, and the amount. And then in the upcoming weeks, if someone finishes early and wants extra credit work, I can assign you more work. All right, is that clear?
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
About the writing. In the Mahina that we did over the summer, we did a lot of cursive writing. I have this entire book full of my beautiful Hebrew cursive. Are we going to be writing by hand, or are we going to be typing on the keyboard? I know they're sending us some Hebrew keyboard stickers. So are we practicing handwriting as well as spelling on the keyboard, or how's that work?
Well, all of the assignments are on Schoology via computer platforms. So all the writing will be on a computer. But if you'd rather write it down and like send me a scan or a picture of what you wrote, if that's easier for you, or if you want to write it as well as typing it, that's totally fine. As in, if you want to get that practice of like handwriting with a pencil.
I mean, I'm good either way. I was just curious. I mean, I'm assuming this course assumes that everyone has that level of being able to write in the cursive. I mean, a lot of the preparation class was just learning how to do this. So, yeah, I was just curious. I mean, it's helpful to reinforce it, but I mean, I'm fine to do either one. So.
Right, you're basically gonna need to like write all sorts of things, like by yourself already. Sentences, obviously, like with help and instructions and like vocabulary and stuff like that. But yes, you'll be writing your own kind of sentences and so forth. Any other questions? Yes.
Yes. So what I think I'm hearing is within this Schoology platform, maybe a keyboard is going to come up with the Hebrew letters, because I have stickers already, but I'm expecting this machine to just go at any time. So I'm going to save the stickers, but in other words, I don't need Morphix, or I don't need I have both of those somewhere in this machine because I've used them. But because of the crash, I don't know how to use it. I have used Hebrew writing for homework, but what I'm hoping is that I'll see a little keyboard maybe, and all I'll have to do is go up and hit the letters and it'll print it on the screen.
So in some of them, there is an option like that. And you are supposed, I think in most of them, you are supposed to get, you are supposed to get a Hebrew keyboard kind of stickers so you can type in Hebrew. If you have any problem, if starting the activities you see that, oh, hello. If starting the activities you see that you have no way of writing in Hebrew, please talk to me and I'll get the technical guys at Hebrew College to help you out with that, okay? And about Morphix, it's good you brought it up. Has everybody here used Morphix?
Whatever those things.
Yes.
Great. So Morphix is a website. It doesn't have to be an app or anything like that. You basically just type in Morphix in your Google browser, type in the word you want to translate, and you'll get the translation there. So that's something that's good to know that you can use throughout your exercises. If there's a certain word that we didn't give there will be a lot of words that we don't give you the translation for, and you're gonna have to find it on your own, because that's kind of part of practicing, is seeing whole sentences and paragraphs and hearing things in Hebrew while you don't have a translation for every single word. So you kind of get the hang of just like hearing it and reading it all together. So that's something important you should know that you can use if you need a word. Obviously, if you can't find it or if you're having trouble, speak to me and I will help you.
Yeah, so Morphix, I guess it was Dafka Writer. There's Dafka Writer and another one. I've purchased both of them.
Oopsie.
Okay, so it should work for you.
Oops.
Okay, so try, when you start doing the activities, if you see you can't type in Hebrew and that little window of Hebrew letters doesn't come up, so let me know and we'll figure it out together with the technical people at Hebrew College. Great.
Okay.
So last but not least, it's very important for me that you guys know that my job is to be here for you during the exercises, although we only meet once a week face-to-face. Well, it's not really face-to-face, but it's, internet-wise face-to-face. Even though I don't see you every day, any question, any trouble, please let me know, and I will do everything that I can to help you. Sorry, I have a little bit of a cold. Sorry for the coughing. Anyways, anything, if it's questions about your assignments, even just about what am I supposed to be doing, I have no idea, or while you're doing the assignment, something that isn't understood, technical issues, just like we just spoke about, really anything, please let me know. You could either message me on Schoology, or if you see it's been like a couple hours and it's urgent and I'm not answering, please feel free to email me, which is something that is much that I have my email on my phone as well, so that's something that I see more often, I check more often. Obviously, I check Schoology all the time, but my email, it pops up anytime I get an email. So if you send me something on Schoology and I'm not answering, or if it's just easier for you to send via email, any question or anything, feel free to email me. Remember the time difference. I live in Jerusalem, so that's 7 hours ahead of the East Coast and 10 hours ahead of the West Coast. So just keep that in mind, that if I'm not answering, it may be because it's 3 in the morning and I'm sleeping. But that's it. So that's it for me and for today. Yesh lemisu she'elot? Does anybody have any questions about anything we talked about overall about the course?
I had one problem getting the vocabulary list. Is it a list? Is it linked to a list or what?
It's supposed to be here. Let's see it over here. You mean at the beginning of Unit 1?
Ken.
Okay, 1 second. Let's check that out. I'll show you how it's supposed to look. So here you have the vocabulary, otzar milim, in Hebrew, which is an interesting phrase because otzar means treasure. Otzar milim means kind of literally a treasure box of words, but it actually just means vocabulary. And it's supposed to look like this.
That's awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have that.
No idea who came up with that, but that's just the way it is.
That's great.
Otzar milim. So this
One
is how
that I couldn't print. I couldn't print that.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is, below this document, I'm going to add a link of basically what this is a Google Doc embedded into Schoology. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the actual link to this Google Doc, and then you click that link, and there you will see you can print it. It will say options, print, or something like that, okay? And if not, again, let me know, and I will just send it to you as a file that you can print or something like that. The reason that we make it embedded and not as like a PDF like you were talking about is just so that, because you're not really, as in, obviously, if you want to print it, you can print it, but part of kind of working with this platform is really seeing this stuff and working with this material when it's right in front of you on the computer online. So that's why it's embedded, so you kind of really just can go into the page and right away see exactly the list you're supposed to be seeing. So David, can you see the vocabulary list like this, or is it not showing up like this for you?
I did. I got this one. I just put my cursor on it and did Control P and it'll print out.
Perfect. So Romel, try that as well, putting your cursor. Let's see what happens when I do that. I never tried that actually. Control P. So, there you go.
Oh,
Let's
look
see
at
what
that.
it selected for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you, David. I did not know that. That's a good trick.
Neither. That's cool.
Yeah, that's very cool.
How do you know it's printing? Because
No, it's coming. See how it's coming up as a cue to print. It's loading, and then
It's loading slowly, and you see here, yeah, and that's it. It's ready to print, and then you can just click.
and then you can save it as a PDF. It looks like too. So
yeah, that's what I do. So you can either save it as a PDF and then print, or you could just assign your printer and print it.
Okay.
And that's it. Great.
That's
So I'm
cool.
glad we figured that out.
Yeah.
So Rommel, try that, and if it doesn't work, let me know, and we'll see what we can do.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Great. No problem. Thank you, David.
Can you print down the screen where you have the words, the Jets words for the houses to rent or buy?
Which activity are you referring to?
The houses to rent or buy. The
1 second, I'll be with you so we can see. What number activity is it?
it's down. It's
Yeah. Oh,
house
this
sale.
housing sale 6.
Yeah.
So what do you want to print out here?
The screens where you can have a
Okay.
printout of the word.
So here, in this activity, you're basically watching kind of a slideshow,
Ken.
and I'm not sure if there's a way to print that, but I will check that out for you and get back to you. What would you want to print from here? As in these kind of the actual moda'ot?
ממחירה בירושלים.
The word.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, you want to print like
No.
these things out?
Ken.
What you could do, by the way, is you could just, the print screen button that you have on your keyboard at the top right, print screen, you know that button? Great. So you can just print screen, you could pause it, print screen kind of the words that you want to print, and then just stick it on a Word file until you have all the ones you want and print that out. Does that sound like something you'd be able to do?
Okay.
Okay, again, if not,
Yes.
if it's too complicated, let me know and I'll try to get kind of a written version that you can print out, okay? But again, just like Allison said, I think like part of what we're trying to do here is learning how to learn on this platform and not by printing out pages. Of course, obviously, if you'd like to print out, that's totally fine. So again, if you try and print it out and aren't being able to do that, so let me know and I'll help you with that. Great. So yes, Allison.
Oh, just my last question is just sort of, so for this, I was a little confused, is like, in general, this course assumes sort of what level of comprehension and understanding? I'm just sort of, in general, like what is assumed?
So I think what's assumed is, first of all, kind of a level higher than the Mechina. So whoever did the Mechina with Hebrew College, obviously that's kind of the best way to assess because it's one level up from that. And whoever didn't, it's basically one level higher than very, very, very basic Hebrew, I would say.
Okay. Because even though I did the Mechina, it's been like 2 months, and I feel like I forgot everything. So it's
so don't worry. The unit, the whole course and the units are built in a way.
So
Great. So that's good. Yeah. The units. Sorry. The whole course and each unit is built in a way that it's, it goes kind of from easier to harder, and that's something that will help you kind of slowly get into it. And all the explanations that you have are in English, and you have kind of the vocabulary, the otzar milim that you could always go back to if you forget a word, if you're not sure what it means. So don't worry. I think you'll be fine. And again, if you feel like you have no idea what's going on, just let me know and I'll help you out.
Okay.
Great.
And one more thing. So the text is, you're not really assigning chapters from the text, because I remember there's a whole thing in here about apartments and blah, blah, blah.
So this program, the Hebrew College kind of new program on Schoology, is somewhat based on the book, but it's different. As in, it's not the same. We're not going to be working with the book. We're only going to be working with Schoology. So you're right. There are a lot of kind of subjects that we took from there or examples of different exercises, but actually the difference between Schoology and the book is obviously it's a platform kind of on the internet, on the computer, and that obviously makes it different. But also we've tried to make it as part of the proficiency method. I don't know if you guys heard about that, but it's a method that says that you should learn a language in a context, and not just kind of grammatical rules, but learn it in a context. And we tried to make it kind of very interactive and colorful, and having a lot of speaking activities and discussion activities and hearing activities. So it's kind of a little more, I guess, four-dimensional than just kind of writing, reading, writing, reading. Does that make sense?
Right. I hope this works, because I've done the Hebrew University in Jerusalem. I've done Middlebury. I've done Brandeis. I've done Gratz.
Wow.
That's what
Roma, I hope this level will be good for you.
Two of the other books, but I'm still in level 1. I mean, I can translate a lot of written stuff better, but of course, expressive is another level of learning.
Right.
So, I'm happy for this experience. I'm curious about it. And like I said, I just hope it works.
I hope so too. And again, feedback. Let me know how it's going. Let me know what you feel about the activities. Are you getting what you wanted to get? Are you not? So we could kind of make it better. If not, if you feel that the level is too low for you on the first week, like way too low, we'll have to maybe rethink of maybe this level is too low for you. No, you're saying no. Okay, we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. Your spoken Hebrew got me like a little bit. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
Anyways.
I have good days and I have bad days. There's some days that I can just remember words, and then other days I'm scratching my head, And the other thing is I need to hear it. My problem is I don't have anyone that I can really talk to or hear it spoken to me.
Great. So we have a lot of listening. That's exactly why we have a lot of listening activities as part of this course. And also the meetings with me, as they go along, I will try and speak more and more Hebrew so that you can hear it more. And again, if that's something that you feel like throughout the course you're not getting enough of, please let me know and I will assign you more listening activities. Okay?
Good, thank you.
Great, no problem. All right, so I think that's pretty much it for today, unless anybody has any more comments or questions. All right, so it was very nice to meet all of you, and I'm sorry that was kind of a very kind of me rambling type of meeting. Again, the next meetings will be less like that and a lot more dynamic and cooperative between all of us. So you have the assignments. I'm going to put up this slideshow on Schoology as well, so you can see that, and a recording of this lesson, which for you guys is obviously a little less relevant, but unless you kind of miss something and want to watch again. And you should be seeing on the right-hand side of your Schoology page the assignments due for next week. And that's it. So we'll see you again in a week. This week is Yom Kippur, which is the kind of holiday of atonement. Some people fast, pray, everybody does their own thing. But we still kind of wish each other Shana Tova. Another thing that we wish each other here in Israel, or obviously anywhere in Hebrew, is Chatima Tova. Gmar Chatima Tova, which means Chatima means signing, and Gmar Chatima Tova means I wish you that God will sign you in kind of in His good books. It's a phrase. So I wish you all Gmar Chatima Tova and a good sweet year. Amen. And good luck to us all, and good luck to you guys. בהצלחה רבה. ניפגש בשבוע הבא. I'll meet you next week.
Okay.
תודה.
All right.
Shalom.
Bye bye.
שלום, להתראות.
להתראות. שלום.
להתראות.
Bye-bye.